Suspense. Autolite and its 96,000 dealers present Miss Betty Davis in Goodnight, Mrs. Russell, a suspense play produced and edited by William Spear.
Say, Harlow, what's the idea? Why do you stand there so stiffly and keep banging your hand on your forehead?
I'm saluting, Hap.
Saluting?
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Saluting Autolite resistor spark plug.
No. Not that those wonder-working wide-gap whizzes don't warrant a whale of a whack on the welkin. They do. But tonight, I'm saluting the truckers of America, the nifty nonpareil purveyors of conveyors who are holding their annual get-together and Gabfest in Boston, Massachusetts, starting tomorrow.
Oh, you mean the American Trucking Association?
The same. Why, they've got millions of accident-free miles to their credit. Seldom, if ever, make a mistake on the road.
How do they do it?
I'm not sure, but I think Autolite resistor spark plugs must be behind it. Because you're always right with Autolite.
And now, with Goodnight, Mrs. Russell, starring Miss Betty Davis with Elliott Reed, Autolite hopes once again to keep you in suspense.
There's no escaping now. He hasn't said a word for 10 minutes. I know he's turning over in his mind how he's going to kill me. Argument and reasoning are useless. Almost dawn now. In a little while, the milkman and the paper boys will be making their rounds. I'll be dead. Cafe was just half a block away from where I worked. It was a small, pleasant little place, spotlessly clean, with a large plate glass window on the sidewalk. And there was always a beautiful-looking roast turkey and a juicy baked ham in the window, and you could watch Henry carve off succulent pieces of meat and arrange them into neat sandwiches with an olive and a dab of potato salad on the plate. Every noon, all of us who worked in the Hilmar building would go there for lunch. We crowded in on the high stools and jabbered, as women do, while Henry patiently served us and put up with our female chatter. He was always the only one there.
How are you today, ma'am?
Fine, thank you, Henry. How about some of your nice baked ham?
Yes, ma'am. Coming up.
He was always especially nice to me. I suppose that was because I'm, a little older than the others. Other girls are all very young, very cute. Henry always seemed uncomfortable a little with them.
Yes, ma'am. Coffee?
Please. And I believe I'll have some of your cherry pie. You're an excellent cook, Henry.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I'm glad you think so. 20 and 15's 35, and...
Henry'd been right in the middle of adding up my check when he stopped and stood very still and looked out of the corner of his eye with his head cocked on one side as though he were listening to something. His expression was a little horrified. I thought maybe he'd heard a sound that meant something to him, like the refrigerator out of order or something. And then all of a sudden he shook his head and brushed away whatever it was he'd heard.
20 and 15's 35 and 45. You should try one of my dinners sometime, ma'am.
Yeah. Henry, how about some service?
Oh, excuse me, ma'am.
That was Henry. Oh, one other thing. Funny, but Henry never smiled. Perhaps I should have realized about him because of that. But I didn't. He was so nice and clean and polite, I rather liked him. As a rule, I make my own dinner in the apartment, but one night I had to work quite late at the office, and I decided to stop by Henry's and get a little bite before catching the streetcar home. Ever since my husband's death, I felt just a little uneasy on the streets alone at night. I was glad to see the bright light in Henry's little cafe down the block. Henry was alone inside, and I could see him fussing around, cleaning up the place. He didn't hear me approaching.
What's that? Oh, you frightened me, ma'am. I didn't hear you coming.
I just thought I'd try one of your dinners tonight, Henry. You mentioned it.
Yes, I know. Sit down, won't you, ma'am?
You weren't closing or anything?
No, not at all. What would you like?
Oh, I'll try your number 4 dinner.
Number 4. Yes, ma'am.
He seemed frightened about something or suspicious. Yes, that was it. He seemed suspicious about something, I thought. I wanted to help him somehow, but I didn't want to butt in.
This is the first time you've ever been by here at night, ma'am.
Yes, I had to work late tonight, Henry. Didn't want to go home without dinner, you know.
I see.
Is something wrong, Henry?
But no. I'll get the rest of your dinner.
Delicious soup.
Thank you, ma'am. You don't often work late, do you?
No, I don't. This is the first time, in fact. My boss asked me to stay late to type some letters.
I know. You work in the Hilmar building.
Why, yes, I do. How did
I know lots of things, ma'am.
This is a good dinner, Henry. I guess I'm not as hungry as I thought I was. I'm afraid I'm going to have to leave some of it.
I thought you liked my cooking. You said so just the other day.
Oh, I do. I think you're a fine cook, Henry. I'm just not hungry tonight. I waited too long to eat, I guess.
You don't have to make excuses, ma'am. If you didn't like it, just say so.
Oh, no, I mean it. Your food is wonderful, Henry. If it weren't, I wouldn't have come here.
Wouldn't you?
No. Now, could I have my check, please?
85 cents, ma'am.
All right. There you are, Henry. You may keep the change.
I'd rather not, ma'am. Here.
Very well. Good night, Henry.
Good night. And, ma'am,
Yes,
next time you come, I'll have something you like.
but I did like... Oh, good night, Henry.
Good night, Mrs. Russell.
It was good food, but I felt ill at ease in there for some reason. That's why I couldn't eat. I decided not to go back there alone. Rather hard to talk to Henry. And I didn't go back alone. That is, not for 3 weeks. Had to work late, and again, and for the last time, I went to Henry's. Hello, Henry.
Ah, you decided to try me again, I see.
Why, Henry, I've been eating here every day.
Not at night.
What's the difference?
Well, in the daytime, you're always with your friends.
I like to eat with my friends. Now, come on, let's have no more of this silly talk. How about one of your wonderful dinners, Henry? I promise to eat all of it tonight.
All right, ma'am. Which one?
I'll try the number 4 again, please. I think that way I can convince you I really like it.
Why?
Why? Oh, because I think 4 is lucky, don't you?
All right, ma'am. It's all ready.
You don't have many customers at night, do you, Henry?
No, ma'am. Not many.
I'm surprised you stay open.
Are you? There you are. I hope...
Henry, what is it? You seem to be listening for something. Is there...
Are you enjoying your dinner?
I hate to sound like I'm prying. I know it isn't my business at all, but I do think something's bothering you.
Do you?
Yes, isn't there some way I can help you?
Nothing's bothering me, ma'am.
Yes. You know, I had a son like you.
Did you?
He was in the army, killed in the war. He was very much like you.
I see.
That left me all alone in the world. My husband Leonard died 4 years ago.
Yes?
He was a wonderful man. Everyone admired him. A contractor, you know.
I see.
He noticed that as I talked away about my family and everything, he became very quiet. He sat down on the cooler back of the counter and just watched me, his face absolutely blank. I couldn't tell what he was thinking. When I'd ask him a question, he'd just answer with, I see, or yes, or no. Sometimes he wouldn't answer at all, just stare at me. I was getting uneasy again. I just about decided to make up an excuse to pay my bill and leave. It was getting quite late when my head began to feel heavy, and I began to feel sick. Henry, I feel ill. Henry, I'm awfully dizzy. I don't think I can. Henry, can't you hear me? I believe I'm going to faint. Perhaps you'd better help. Did you do something?
Good night, Mrs. Russell.
Autolite is bringing you Miss Betty Davis in Goodnight, Mrs. Russell, tonight's production in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Say, Harlow, how'd you stain your tie?
Oh, that's from the alphabet soup we had at dinner. Boy, do I love that soup.
Crazy about it, huh?
Yeah. We have a special alphabet, too. Only the letters A-L-R-S-P.
A-L-R-S-P?
Mm-hmm. Stand for Autolite Resistor Spark Plugs.
Oh, brother. Say, when you eat it, do you make noises that sound like A-L-R-S-P?
Noise? No, sir. Everything's smooth with Autolite Resistor Spark Plugs because only Autolite Resistor Spark Plugs have the built-in 10,000-ohm resistor that makes practical their wider gap setting and results in
1,
200% longer electrode life. 2, quicker starts in cold temperatures. 3, better engine performance on leaner gas mixtures. Gas savings. 4, less spark plug interference with radio and television from passing cars and trucks. Autolite resistor spark plugs are backed by the engineering know-how of Autolite, leader in resistor spark plugs. Millions are in use today, so get yourself a set of Autolite resistor spark plugs. Remember, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage our star Betty Davis with Elliott Reed in Goodnight, Mrs. Russell, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I don't know how long I was unconscious. It seemed just for a moment crowded with horrible nightmares and dreadful sounds. I remember hearing a woman screaming and crying horribly. It was ghastly. I must have been unconscious several hours. And when I opened my eyes, it was dark, pitch dark. A clock was ticking somewhere, and I realized that the screaming woman had been me. Is anyone here? Where I'm tied up. Who's there? Can anyone hear me? Help! 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 Where am I?
You're in my room, Mrs. Russell.
It was Henry. Where was he? The room was black as night. I could see nothing. What was I doing here? Why was I tied up? How did I get here? I remembered nothing after feeling dizzy at Henry's. So that was it. You put something in my food, didn't you, Henry?
Yes, I did, Mrs. Russell. I didn't want to kill you at the cafe, you see.
You?
Yes, Mrs. Russell. Kill you. Dead.
Why, Henry? Why?
Because you're my enemy. You and all the others.
Your enemy? I like you, Henry. I've always liked you. I
don't lie, Mrs. Russell. You thought I didn't know, didn't you? You thought I didn't know what you were up to.
What I was up to?
Planning to kill me. Night after night, I've heard you, all of you, outside my window, whispering. Talking about how you were going to kill me. Didn't you know I could hear you?
You're insane!
Oh, no, I'm smart, Mrs. Russell. And you know it. That's why all of you plan to kill me, get rid of me. Oh, it's just lucky I found out you were one of them. You'll be the first to die, Mrs. Russell. And you're going to die slowly, in the dark. How do you like that, Mrs. Russell? Be quiet, Mrs. Russell, or I'll have to beat you up before I kill you.
I tried to make myself think. I remembered you're supposed to humor people that like Henry. I tried to control myself.
No one can hear you. No one even knows you're here. And I'm not going to untie you either. Not until you're dead.
Oh, Henry, I'm only an...
You'll lie here in the dark and listen to the clock for half an hour. Just half an hour, Mrs. Russell. And then I'll kill you. You see, I want you to suffer like you've made me suffer.
Henry, I'm just an ordinary woman.
Oh, I'm smart enough to see through those remarks you made.
Remarks?
Always talking about what a good cook I was. As if you felt I wasn't a man. I know what you were thinking.
Henry, I didn't mean anything of the sort. I really...
And then rubbing it in about your precious son in the army. Rubbing it in, torturing me.
Henry, that's wrong.
And always ordering number 4 dinner. Oh, I'm smart, you see, Mrs. Russell. I can figure things out. Number 4 is lucky, you said. 4 for 4F, you meant.
Henry, all those things, they were your imagination. I didn't mean them that way at all. I didn't know about the army.
Weak excuses, Mrs. Russell. Oh, you're like all the rest. I'm too smart for you, and you know it. So you want to kill me. I'm a dangerous enemy, Mrs. Russell.
Oh. How long have I got to live, Henry?
Oh, a half hour. I don't know. The alarm will ring, and then I'll kill you.
I was resigned to it then. It seemed so hopeless. But then I thought if I could just get him to turn on the light, I might see a way out. It was a forlorn hope, but I tried it. Henry? Henry? How do you know you set the clock right? Henry!
I heard you.
No, you didn't answer. I thought...
You thought you could get me to turn on the light. Sorry, Mrs. Russell.
Henry? You're torturing yourself more than you are me, Henry. Do you know that?
What do you mean?
Well, you don't know when the alarm's going to ring either. You must be sitting on the edge of your seat waiting to hear it. Aren't you? You see, when it rings, I know that I'll have to die, but you know that you'll have to commit a terrible crime. Murder, Henry.
Shut up.
It is true, then, isn't it?
You can't trick me into turning on the light. I'm too smart for that. Oh, you're going to suffer in the dark. As I have. I decided to turn on the light, Mrs. Russell.
At first I was blinded, having been in the dark so long. Then I saw his hands. They were long and slim and brown. Blue veins stood out on the backs of them. I looked up at him. He was glaring at me from beneath his bulging forehead. Then he picked up the alarm clock and looked at it. Henry, I see it's 10 minutes to 3.
Yes, Mrs. Russell. You have 10 minutes to live. Can you wait?
It was a tiny, neat living room. I was on a couch. The shades were down. There was no phone. Well, the front door might be unlocked. It might be. I can wait, Henry. 8 minutes now. Somehow with the lights on, I felt more optimistic, though. The hands were racing each other around the face of the clock. If I could just get untied now, there'd be a chance. I'd have to be careful, but quick.
5 minutes, Mrs. Russell.
Henry, what are those things strapped to that board over there on the wall?
Huh? Oh, that's my collection.
A collection?
Match folders.
Oh, do you collect match folders?
Oh, yes. I'll show them to you.
I held my breath as he took them down off the wall. If that clock would only stand still for 5 minutes.
Here. See? I have folders from all the famous night spots. Here's Ciro's and the Stork Club and 21. I bet you didn't think I'd been to all those places, did you?
Oh, I know. Have you, Henry?
Oh, sure. Lots of times. People would never believe me. That's why I have these.
They're lovely, Henry. Henry, my arms and legs are numb from being tied up like this. Could you?
No! I warned you not to get tricky, Mrs. Russell.
I just wanted you to loosen my hands so I could look at your collection.
Well, just your hands.
Forgotten about everything. His collection for the moment. But that alarm would go any second and I would remind him.
Here.
As he untied my hands, my eyes fell on a large jade bookend beside the couch.
There. Now, be careful, Mrs. Russell. You just wanted to see my collection, remember?
Yes, Henry, show it to me.
Now. Oh, see this one? That's from the Coconut Grove.
Yes,
And,
Henry. I
and
let
this
my
one
hand steal along the couch toward the bookends.
New Orleans. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, it is, Henry.
And,
I had it in my hand.
You're not paying attention.
Oh, yes, I am, Henry. I don't remember doing it. Somehow I'd gotten the bindings off my feet, and I was outside in the night. He'd been telling the truth. His house was completely isolated on one block. I ran down the block as hard as I could. I didn't even think about direction, just ran. I knew he'd come to in a minute, and I had to get out of sight. I'm not used to such exercise, and my heart was pounding so hard it ached. In the middle of the next block, I stopped for a moment and leaned against a tree to breathe. And I looked back, and I saw him. I could see him beneath the street lamp. He'd stopped, not knowing which way I'd gone. He was wild. His mouth was hanging open loosely. I shrank back further in the shadows and prayed he'd go the other way. He didn't. He started walking rapidly again in my direction. Then there was a house in this block, a big rambling place. It was after 3 a.m. and the people would be asleep, but I knew I could run no further. Help! Help! Let me in, please! Please open the door! Open! And then I saw the note pinned to the door. It said no milk for 10 days. I could hear Henry's footsteps down the street, and I knew he must have heard me. My heart felt as though it would burst. The street was deserted. And then I heard a car approaching. It was a block away. I ran out of the street and waved my arms. Help! Help me! Stop, please! Please, stop! 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 Help! Help! Help!
Hello, Mrs. Russell.
Henry!
Come on, Mrs. Russell.
But
Come on. Now, we're going home again, Mrs. Russell.
There's no escaping now. He hasn't said a word for 10 minutes. I know he's turning over in his mind how he's going to kill me. It's almost dawn now. In a little while, the milkman and paper boys will be making their rounds. I'll be dead.
You shouldn't have tried to get away, Mrs. Russell. You made me very mad.
I know.
You shouldn't have hit me either. You were even smarter than I thought, Mrs. Russell. You almost made it. But you weren't smart enough. Were you?
If you're going to kill me, Henry, please do it. Haven't you tortured me enough?
You see, it just didn't do you any good to be my enemy, did it? Oh, I don't like to kill you, but I have to. It's the only way I can protect
Don't
myself.
you see you're not well, Henry? Please try to listen to me.
I'll have to kill all the others, too. If I don't, they'll kill me.
The others.
Oh, don't pretend you don't know, Mrs. Russell. Oh, I've heard them whispering about me. You must have heard them, too. The voices.
The voices?
All the time. Just like I told you. When I'm at work and even here at home, I hear them plotting. They don't know I know.
Henry, there's no one. It's all an illusion. Don't you see?
Just like you are. They're afraid of me because they know I can outsmart them. I'm too clever for them, and they know it. That's why they want to kill me. That's why you want to kill me, isn't it, Mrs. Russell?
I don't want to kill you, Henry. If only there
I've
was...
sort of got to like you, Mrs. Russell. If you weren't dangerous to me, I might let you live.
I'm not dangerous to you, Henry.
Oh, yes, you are. I've decided to choke you. If you close your eyes, it will happen very quickly. You'll hardly know it. Are you ready, Mrs. Russell? Please don't struggle. It'll be much easier for both of us. Aren't you going to close your eyes?
No.
What's that?
What?
Listen. You can hear them. Don't you hear them? The voices.
The voices. The voices.
Don't you hear them?
Yes, I hear them, Henry.
See? Now you believe me, don't you? You hear what they're saying?
Yes. Yes, it's just as you said, Henry.
They must be right near.
Yes, right near.
Oh, there are a lot of them. Too many.
You'd better hide, Henry.
Oh, yes. Yes, but where? They sound louder all the time.
They're getting closer. Have you a closet?
Yes, that's it. The closet. Over here.
Shall I help you, Henry?
Yes, yes. But be quick. This closet. I'll hide in here.
All right, Henry. I'll protect you. There. A good place to hide.
What if they find me here?
I'll lock the door, Henry.
No. I don't want to be locked in.
They're getting closer, Henry.
You'll unlock the door when they're gone?
Yes, Henry.
Lock the door, Mrs. Russell.
You'll be safe now. Good night, Henry.
Suspense, presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Miss Betty Davis, with Elliot Reed.
You know, Harlow, it's really marvelous how safely and courteously American truckmen drive.
You said it, Hap, and Autolite cooperates regularly with the American Trucking Associations in their excellent highway safety programs.
Say that swell, Harlow.
Swell, say, that reminds me. We haven't said anything about the more than 400 products Autolite makes for cars, trucks, planes, and boats in 28 plants, coast to coast. They're swell, too. And Autolite makes complete electrical systems for many of America's finest cars. Batteries, spark plugs, generators, starting motors, coils, distributors, all engineered to fit together perfectly, work together perfectly because they're a perfect team. So, folks, don't accept electrical parts that are supposed to be as good. Ask for and insist on Autolite original factory parts at your neighborhood service station, car dealer, garage, or repair shop. Remember, you're always right with Autolite. Next Thursday for Suspense, Victor Mature will be our star. The play is called Momentum. And it is, as we say,
A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Tonight's Suspense play was produced and edited by William Spear and directed by Norman MacDonald. Music for Suspense is composed by Lucien Morawek and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Goodnight, Mrs. Russell was an original radio play written by Ben S. Hunter. Betty Davis will soon be seen in the Warner Brothers production Beyond the Forest.
You can buy Autolite resistor spark plugs, Autolite stay-full batteries, Autolite electrical parts at your neighborhood Autolite dealers. Switch to Autolite. Good night.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Suspense. Autolite and its 96,000 dealers present Mr. Victor Mature in Momentum, a suspense play produced and edited by William Spear.
Say, Hap.
Yes, Harlow?
This morning I was telling a cantankerous cartoon of a car it would run better with Autolite resistor spark plugs when it reared up on its differential and replied, "What do you think I'm waiting for?"
A talking car.
Well, every bright buggy knows that Autolite resistor spark plugs mean a smoother idle and better engine performance on leaner gas mixtures.
Why, that's common knowledge among cars.
Right, you are, Hap. Autolite resistor spark plugs have 200% longer electrode life. And they cut down on spark plug interference with radio and television, too. Why, millions are in use. Backed by the engineering know-how of Autolite, wide-gap Autolite resistor spark plugs assure top, all-round spark plug performance. Get Autolite resistor spark plugs. Remember, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, with Momentum and with the performance of Victor Mature, Autolite hopes once again to keep you in suspense.
I look just like any other guy standing on a platform waiting for a train at night. The other people walking up and down here waiting for their train. They might look and they might not. Just a guy waiting for a train. Waiting to say goodbye to New York. They don't know I'm different. It's starting to snow. They think the way I'm clutching my coat collar together is because I'm cold. They don't know I've got a bullet in my neck. Yeah. This is some of that bad trouble my wife always is telling me I'm going to get myself in. Bad trouble. All those people dying on account of it. Like a snowball when it starts rolling itself up, gathering, what is it? Momentum. Well, in another 20 minutes, her train will be here, and I'll meet her, and we'll be on our way to San Francisco, and things will be different. Things will be a lot different. I never thought today was going to be like this. Since noon today, it's already lasted a couple million years. A couple of million years.
Dick, get up.
What's the idea?
Oh, Dick, get up. It's noon. 12 o'clock, and you haven't even gotten out of bed yet.
What? 12 noon? Hey, you're going to be late for work.
I'm home on my lunch hour. I thought you'd do something like this. Sleeping all day.
I was up late last night.
Shooting pool.
All right. A guy's got to have some relaxation.
I've been relaxing for 6 months. You haven't even tried to get a job.
Oh, nuts.
Nobody's out of work these days.
Like I told you, it's got to be the right thing, that's all. I don't want to take the first stinking job that comes along.
Or do you want me to go on supporting you?
You didn't have to say that.
Well, everybody's saying. The people downstairs, the landlord, everybody. If I didn't have my little job, how could we eat?
So everybody's saying you're supporting me, is that it?
Well, isn't it?
I'll show them. I'll show them all. Who are they with their cheap little ideas and two-bit jobs? You don't have to work like a slave to make a living.
Oh, Dick. When you talk like... Sometimes I'm afraid you're going to get in trouble.
The guy's a little down on his luck, and all of a sudden, little wifey's a martyr. She has to go out and work.
Dick, please.
That's it, isn't it? You're a martyr.
No, darling, I didn't say that at all.
Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Dick, when I get home from work tonight, we're going to have to find a place to live.
Now, this place isn't good enough for you, huh?
No, darling. This is our last day. We're being evicted.
Says who?
The landlord stopped me this morning. We owe him 3 months' rent. I simply haven't got it. Well, we have until tomorrow morning.
Well, listen, nobody throws Dick Payne out of his own place.
I'll try to get home early and find a hotel, maybe.
Wait a minute. Don't bother. I'll get some dough. I know just where. Mr. Burroughs.
Oh, Dick, you're not going to Mr. Burroughs.
Why not? He owes it to me. He's making money out of my invention, isn't he?
Dick, you know that when you worked for Mr. Burroughs, you were paid for everything you did.
Yeah, if you call a couple of bucks a week pay. Burroughs is making a lot of dough in that stinking shop just because of my invention.
But he's not that way. I worked for him, too, remember?
Then you ought to know how he cheated me. Yeah, that's what he did. He cheated me.
You know Mr. Burroughs isn't that kind of man. The firm isn't run that way. If you had anything
Go ahead. That's right. Stick up for that shyster who robbed your own husband. I'm going over and see him today for a showdown.
Oh, Dick, please don't go over there. Don't make any trouble.
We need dough, don't we? We're being evicted, aren't we? Well, I'm going to show you a little action. I'm going out and get us some dough.
You know Mr. Burroughs won't listen to anything so foolish.
He'll listen to me, and he'll pay too plenty.
Oh, darling, no.
What are you crying about? Look, when I get that dough, you won't have to support me anymore. Cut it out. Go on back to work. I'm going to lie here a couple of minutes and figure this out. Go on. I guess I was pretty sore when I talked to her like that. But it made me mad. You know, like one of those things leads to another and the whole thing gets going like momentum. By the time I cooled off, I was up in the Bronx where Burroughs has his little office and machine shop in back. I phoned from a drugstore on 192nd Street. And the girl said there'd be a lot of people there all afternoon. So I killed time with a double feature. But I was back there at 6:30 just after dark. And I was mad again thinking about the eviction and all. There was a light in his office, so I got around the side street. And I tried to see what was going on. The blinds were down over the window, but there was enough space for me to see the part of the room. Someone was in there with me. I couldn't see who it was. They were just shaking hands.
Well, good night. Don't you worry about it anymore. Good night.
I waited right there by the window until whoever it was had gone. Then I walked around and up to the door. But I didn't have to knock.
Oh.
Good evening, Mr. Burroughs.
I was just leaving you. You want to see me about something?
Yeah. Yes, sir, I do.
Well, all right. Come in. It's chilly out tonight. Feels like snow, maybe. Well, sit down.
Thanks.
Now what?
Well, I used to work here in the shop once. I quit 6 months ago. Remember me, Dick Payne?
I most certainly do remember you, Payne. Married the best secretary I ever had. Yeah, Pauline, a wonderful girl.
I think so.
I'm sure you appreciate that. She's a very fine girl.
Yeah, she's all right.
How are things with you and Pauline?
Good.
Want to come back to work, Payne?
No, that isn't what I came to see you about. It's about that lug wrench you're still using in the shops, the one with the long side screw.
Yeah, what about it?
I invented it, Mr. Burroughs.
Oh, really? I thought Tim Riley worked that out.
Well, Tim worked on it, but it was me who figured out how to set that thumb screw.
Hasn't the thumb screw always been set that way?
Not high on the wrench, no.
Oh,
and
I see.
Since I figured it out while I was here, and since you're using it, well, I think I ought to be paid for it. I worked on it a long time.
Payne, I just don't believe this, frankly. Tim Riley's been my foreman for 12 years. I know him pretty well. He'd have been the first to tell me if you'd contributed anything to perfecting that wrench.
Well, he wanted all the credit himself.
No, Payne. It's not a matter of credit or money or anything else.
Now, look here, Look here, Burroughs. I'm not going to be cheated out of anything.
Stop it, Payne. I'm not obligated to you in any way.
Look, you're still using the wrench, aren't you?
I don't want to argue with you, and I don't want to be bothered with you. If it weren't for Pauline and the respect I have for her, I wouldn't even listen to you. I told her just the other...
Let's leave her out of this, huh? She's my wife.
Unfortunately for her. You know, Payne, I expected you to try something like this, and I'm ready for it.
Yeah, well, where's my dough?
Here. I want you to sign this. Here.
What is it?
A release. Although I don't owe you anything, for Mrs. Payne's sake, I'm giving you some money, because I know you both need it. This release will be my receipt. It'll insure me against you bothering me about this again.
Yeah?
Go ahead, sign it.
Where's the dough? How much?
$200?
Well, why didn't you say so? Oh, no, you don't, wise guy. I want more than that. Look, if it's big enough to make me sign a release, it's big enough to bring in a lot more dough.
Get out of here, Payne. Get out of here.
And who's going to make me?
I'm smaller than you, Payne, but so help me, I'll throw you out myself. You're a no-good, worthless...
Cut that.
How Pauline could ever have seen
Look,
anything...
I told you to leave her out of this, did
now
I?
Get out of here before
Give me my
I really
dough.
lose my... Get out of here.
Oh, no, you don't. You...
No!
You don't like that, huh? Well, try this. All right, now. All right, now, Mr. Burroughs. Come on, Mr. Burroughs. I didn't mean to. Mr. Burroughs. You see, it was just one of those days. He said something, and I said something, and it all piles up like a snowball. The first thing somebody gets, hurt. If he'd listened to reason if he'd just listened to reason, he'd be alive now. When I felt his pulse, there was nothing. I opened his coat to feel his heart. And that's when a black chamois billfold fell out. It was crammed with money. My money.
Autolite is bringing you Mr. Victor Mature in Momentum, tonight's production in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Hey, Hap, what's the book you have there?
Just a story I'm reading, Harlow. Ruggles of Red Gap.
Really? Say, maybe you'd be interested in my life story, Wilcox of Wide Gap.
Wilcox of Wide Gap?
Mm-hmm. It's all about my sterling and sensational success selling Wide Gap Autolite resistor spark plugs.
Sensational success? You?
Certainly. Didn't you know that over 20 million Wide Gap Autolite resistor spark plugs have been sold? And small wonder. Who can resist having a set of Wide Gap Autolite resistor spark plugs installed in his car when I tell him these Wide Gap whizzes mean smoother engine idle, better performance on leaner gas mixtures, actual gas savings? Why, everybody goes for Autolite resistor spark plugs with the exclusive built-in 10,000 ohm Autolite resistor. You get smoother, faster, easier starts in cold temperatures, 200% longer electrode life, reduced spark plug interference with radio and television reception. So, friends, see your neighborhood Autolite spark plug dealer and have him install a set of the famous Wide Gap Autolite resistor spark plugs in your car. Remember, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Victor Mature in Momentum, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
11:50. The train will just be pulling out of Grand Central now. It'll be here in 10 minutes, 12 o'clock. It won't be long now. Another 10 minutes, I'll be safe on that train with Paulie. And all of this will be over. I'll make it. Nothing's going to stop me. Nothing. Not even this bullet. He started it all, Mr. Burroughs. And then the whole thing got going. Momentum. I didn't mean to kill him. I just went there to get my money, the money he owed me for using my invention. But nobody saw me do it, and I got out of there. All I wanted to do was get home to Pauline. But first I had to stop somewhere and get a drink. I needed it bad. I found a little place on 3rd Avenue, 60-something. It was empty except for the bartender. Hello. Business is kind of slow tonight, huh?
Big television shows don't start until 8. What'll it be?
I'd like some whiskey. Just whiskey.
Just whiskey, and whiskey it is, mister.
Yeah.
Chaser?
No. Give me another one.
Sure. Kind of dry, huh?
Yeah.
Another one?
No. That's enough, thanks.
That's $1.20.
$1.20? Oh, that's no problem. Just take it out of...
Oh. Something wrong, buddy?
Oh, no. I changed my mind.
Oh, what about?
I think I'll have another drink. Yeah, give me another one. Only make it a double this time.
Sure. Want to pay me for the other 2 first?
I'll pay you when I'm finished.
House rule.
Huh?
Every 2 drinks we always collect in this place. That way, in case anybody tries to run out on a tab, which they don't generally do, because I don't like things like that. We don't lose much if they make it.
Just a minute. You don't think that
which
I'm trying
they don't generally do.
Look, I'm not trying to beat you out of anything. I got money.
Sure you have. You know, there's some guys around this town you just can't tell about. What's the matter?
I feel a little sick. Where's the washroom?
Door right back there behind the cigarette machine. Want to pay me now?
I'll be right back. Just my luck. The drinks were more than the change I had in my pocket. That meant I had to break one of those bills I took from Burroughs. They were all 50s and 100s. I couldn't take a chance on that bartender. He might think it was funny and remember and tell the police. I got panicking. It was another one of those snowballing things. I had to get out of that place. In the washroom, there was a window that led off to the alley. I just raised it, and it was climbing up on the sill when the bartender walked in. He was carrying a gun.
All right, wise guy. I thought you'd try something like this. Come on, get over that ledge.
Look, I was only opening the window to get some air in here.
Sure. Tell it to the cops.
I'll pay you. Look, I'll pay you anything you want.
Deadbeat. I spotted you the minute you walked in the joint. I can spot him a mile off. Now, come on, get moving.
No.
Let go of my arm, you crazy fool.
Tell me.
Floater, you might get scare you.
Let go of me. You.
You're crazy.
I stood there with the gun in my hand. I didn't mean to hurt him either. But he tried to turn me over to the police for nothing. I hit him in the leg, but he was out cold. I didn't know what to do. I didn't dare leave the gun. I just didn't know what to do. Finally, I thought I heard somebody coming in the front. I found the back door and ran until I was out of breath. I went up the stairs of our apartment house 2 at a time, and by the time I got inside my door, I thought my knees were going to buckle. But I had the safe feeling that a guy's own place gives him, no matter how stinking it is. Pauline was cooking supper.
Dick? Oh, Dick, hello.
Liver and onions again?
I heard you come in, Dick. I'm glad you're home.
Liver and onions.
Well, I know it isn't one of your favorites, but liver was on sale.
Turn it off.
All right, but I'm going to eat it.
No, you're not. Neither one of us are.
Dick, what is it now? You've been drinking.
2 drinks and I'm drunk, huh?
I didn't say that. But when you drink, it means something's happened. What is it this time?
I made up my mind.
Oh, you mean you're going to take a job?
Yeah.
Oh, darling.
Well, you haven't heard it all yet.
I don't need to hear anymore.
Listen, I know I haven't been the model American husband.
Oh, Dick.
Nobody ever voted me the guy most likely to become a millionaire, but, honey, well, I didn't always get the breaks, you know.
No, of course not.
You need to get a certain amount of momentum to... why kid anybody? It's been my fault.
No, it hasn't, darling. Mm-mm. You've tried in your own way.
Don't keep it up. Everybody thinks I'm a sponge or a deadbeat. You told me they did.
They don't know you like I do.
Nobody believes in me. There's no reason why they should.
I believe in you.
Do you really?
Yes, darling. Yes.
Say it again.
I believe in you.
How much?
As much as anybody could. More.
Would you believe in me in Chicago or Milwaukee or in San Francisco?
Anywhere. Anywhere in the world.
All right, then we're going.
Going? Where?
San Francisco.
But my job.
From now on, I'm doing the work for this family.
Well, how can we
Look,
pick
I've
right
got the
up
money here. Look at it.
Dick. How much is this you have? Where'd you get
Never mind. Look, I got it, and it belongs to me. Take half of it. Go ahead, take it.
Well, all right, but I
now, look,
already...
go down to Grand Central and buy 2 Pullman tickets to San Francisco on the 9 o'clock train.
Well, I'll have to pack. Did you rob a bank?
Don't bother. Buy what you need downtown. It'll give you something to do. From now on, we forget this stinking place and start over from the bottom up. New clothes, new landlords, jobs, new friends, and new enemies. Dick Payne will show them. Yeah, I'll show them all what I can do.
Well, why do you want me to go alone to the station? Why aren't you coming?
I got business to do first. I'm going to pay off all my debts, everybody I owe. How do you like that?
Oh, it's wonderful, Dick, but honestly now, where did you get that
Skip
money?
the questions. It's my dough. I work for it. Satisfy you?
Well...
Now, listen. You get reservations at Grand Central and get on the train. It stops at 125th Street. I'll be busy uptown, so I'll get on at 125th. You got it?
125th Street Station.
Right.
Yeah.
And when that train pulls out of that station, the guy sitting next to you is going to be me.
Oh.
And we'll be heading for a new life, baby. A new life. If she knew what was really on my mind, she'd never have left. I couldn't risk hanging around 42nd Street, showing up at Grand Central with all its bright lights and its cops. I had to hide in some uptown dive where nobody'd find me and then sneak on the train to 125th Street. where they got only about 3 bulbs and no cops. I stood at the window and watched her cross the street. That's when I noticed this guy. A guy standing on the other side of the street looking up right at the apartment. Big, bulky, with policeman-type shoes. I jumped back from the window as he started to cross the street. I pulled my gun out to see if it was loaded. I heard him. I heard him coming up the stairs. There was nothing to do but wait for him. What do you want?
You're Richard Payne?
No, Anderson's my name.
Isn't this apartment 12?
Yeah, it is. I moved in this morning. Payne moved out yesterday.
Oh, now, wait a minute. You fit the description I got until I find out better you're the man I want.
Look, I tell you
we got a little business, you and I don't...
I reached out and I jerked him off his feet to the roof. I knew they'd find me, but I didn't think it would be this quick. He was big and he knew how to handle himself, but I swung the butt of my gun against the side of his head and he went limp. I held him up against the door. I didn't want to touch him, but I thought maybe I could find something in his pockets that would tell me how they knew about me. He didn't have a gun or a badge, only a piece of paper. He was a bailiff from the city hall. He's come to evict us. Evict us, and I'd killed him. I wasn't a killer. It was this momentum. Everybody I met. 3 people in 3 hours.
Hello, Mr. Payne.
Out of my way.
What are you doing with a gun in your
Out of my way.
Gone crazy. This place is a regular buckhouse.
Why, Mr. Payne, what's the matter?
Move that baby carriage. Get out of my way.
Don't point that gun at me.
Move it.
Don't.
I said move it. Oh, no, you don't, Topper. The second bullet hit me. Hit me somewhere in my back, up high. I don't know where exactly. The pain was everywhere at once, and for a moment everything stopped working. I grabbed the edge of a building and saw a long alley wavering in front of my eyes. It was a long, dark alley. There was a light at the other end. I got my breath and started towards that bright spot. I knew the whole neighborhood would be after me. Besides everything else, now I'd been shooting at cops. The light at the other end turned out to be a milk truck without a driver. All of a sudden, nobody had to tell me what to do. I got in and I drove off. I left the truck somewhere on 127th Street or someplace, I don't know where, a block or 2 from here. The toughest thing of all was climbing the stairs to get up here to the station. 3 flights of stairs, a step at a time, and like my head would fall off from pain every time I took a step.
The Broadway Limited, non-stop to Chicago, just arriving.
Just a minute.
Oh, hello. Hey, you sick, mister?
Where do the Pullmans stop?
Oh, the Pullmans always stop up front by the second light.
What time does the Chicago train come in?
Oh, they just arrive. Leave a Grand Central 11:50 o'clock. Arrive here 12 midnight under the hat. 80 years I sweep up the platform, always on the time. You gonna catch?
Yeah.
Where's your bags?
My wife got on at Grand Central with the luggage. I'm meeting her. We're going places, boy.
Oh, that's nice. So where you going? In Chicago or Kansas City?
As far as it'll take me, west.
Oh, San Francisco. That's a nice town. When you get there, what are you going to do?
I got a job there.
That's good. Well, maybe someday I take a train to San Francisco. Now I got a job here, sweeping. Hey, listen. She just come out of the tunnel. It's on the time.
Good.
That's a pretty, huh? Good. Except when the train comes at night. When I work, it's always quiet up here. I used to brush the dirt off of the side. Down she goes, 45 feet down to the street where the dots belong. Mister, please move the foot so I sweep where you stand. Huh?
Sure.
Thanks a lot. I sweep just... Hey. What's this?
Huh?
Your nose don't bleed, but there's a fresh blood drip on the platform. Hey, what's your name?
None of your business.
Just a minute. More blood. I don't like this. Now I know why you don't tell me your name. You shame. Maybe you the same fellow shoot a policeman tonight.
All right, turn around.
Oh, you gotta go.
Turn around, I said.
Mister, what are you gonna do?
Don't you worry. What do you think?
Broadway Limited?
Help me up the steps, please.
Sure.
Thanks.
There you go.
Oh.
What's the matter with that fella? He looks so funny.
Dick? Oh, here I am. You were going right past me.
Pauline, the lights were flickering. I couldn't see.
Dick,
I couldn't
what's wrong?
see. Just tired, terribly tired. I kept my word and met you, but I'm so tired.
Dick, you're hurt.
Take care of me, Pauline. Don't let them get to me. Don't let...
Who? What is it, dearest? Who are they?
Hold me. Hold me, Pauline.
Oh, darling. What did you do?
It wasn't my fault. I went to get the money from Burroughs. The money he owed me, I killed him.
Oh, no.
And everything
no,
went wrong. No. Everything. All those people, but I had to get that money. I had to get that money for us.
Oh, Dick, no.
I had to.
What? I got off work early and went to see Mr. Burroughs. He gave me $200. He said when you came by, he'd have you sign a release for us.
Pauline.
Dick. Oh, Dick. Oh, Dick.
Suspense, presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Victor Mature.
Mr. Mature, that was a top performance.
Well, thanks a lot.
Do you know something else that gives a top performance?
Well, you're probably going to say Autolite resistor spark plugs, huh?
Vic, you're right with Autolite.
Harlow, I would have been very much surprised if you'd said anything else.
Why, sure. Autolite resistor spark plugs with the exclusive built-in 10,000 ohm Autolite resistor permit a wide gap setting, giving top spark plug performance. Top performers, too, are the more than 400 other products made by Autolite for cars, trucks, planes, and boats in 28 Autolite plants coast to coast. They include complete electrical systems for many of America's finest cars. Spark plugs, batteries, starting motors, generators, coils, distributors. All engineered by Autolite to fit together perfectly, work together perfectly, because they're a perfect team. So, friends, don't accept electrical parts that are supposed to be as good. Insist on and get Autolite, original factory parts at your service station, car dealer, garage, or repair shop. Remember, you're always right with Autolite. Next Thursday for Suspense, Red Skelton will be our star. The play is called The Search for Isabel, and it is, as we say,
a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Tonight's Suspense play was produced and edited by William Spear and directed by Norman MacDonald. Music for Suspense is composed by Lucien Morawek and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Momentum is a Cornell Woolrich story adapted for radio by E. Jack Newman. Victor Mature appeared through the courtesy of 20th Century Fox, producers of the Technicolor production, Oh, You Beautiful Doll. In the coming weeks, you will hear such stars as Van Heflin, Lucille Ball, and Desi Arnaz. By the way, Lorene Tuttle tonight was Pauline. And now, don't forget, next Thursday, same time, Autolite will present Suspense, starring Red Skelton.
You can buy Autolite resistor spark plugs, Autolite stay-full batteries, Autolite electrical parts at your neighborhood Autolite dealers. Switch to Autolite. Good night.
This is National Safety Congress Week. The Electric Autolite Company, which received the National Safety Council's Public Interest Award this year, urges you to do your part to promote safety on the highway, in the home, and on the job. Drive slowly. Death and danger travel in fast company. And remember to be careful wherever you are. The life you save may be your own. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Suspense. Autolite and its 96,000 dealers present Mr. Red Skelton in The Search for Isabel, a suspense play produced and edited by William Spears.
Hey, Hap, did you hear about the super snook from Sandy Hook who found Snoo in his car?
Snoo? What's new?
Nothing. What's new with you?
Oh, Harlow, that's really pretty corny.
It sure is. But it just shows how easily you can be fooled. Now, take automobile batteries, for instance. They look alike, but there's only one Autolite Stay Full battery. The difference? Autolite Stay Full batteries need water only 3 times a year in normal car use. In addition, Autolite Stay Full batteries have a fiberglass retaining mat at every positive plate for longer battery life. The fact is, in recent tests based on SAE life cycle standards, Autolite Stay Full batteries gave up to 70% longer average life than batteries without Stay Full features. So get an Autolite Stay Full battery. Remember, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, with The Search for Isabel, and with the performance of Red Skelton, Autolite hopes once again to keep you in suspense.
You know, Isabel first came into my life when I received a card from the telephone company stating that my application for a phone had been approved, and they were going to install one in my apartment. Well, I left instructions with the apartment house management to let the serviceman in. When I got home from work that evening, there was the telephone, as big as life, sitting there on the night table. Well, I just looked at it for a minute, like I'd never seen the phone before. Gosh, it started to ring. I about jumped out of my skin. I just let it ring a couple of times. Just wanted to hear it. To me, it sounded like the bells of St. Mary. Hello?
Is Isabel LaRue in, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. You must have the wrong number.
Is this Evergreen 31924?
Take a look. Yes, Evergreen 31924. Mm-hmm.
Well, isn't Miss LaRue there?
No, this phone was just installed. This must be her old number.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to have troubled you. Thank you.
Oh, no trouble at all. I wouldn't have thought much about the call, except by next Saturday I'd had a dozen more just like it. And most of them were men. But it interested me. Any gal that gets around like that must interest a guy. So I decided that the next time I would try to find out a little further. Hello?
Harold Mason's office calling for Miss LaRue.
Oh, yes. Put him on.
Just one moment.
Hello, Miss Isabel LaRue. Mr. Mason calling.
Well, Miss LaRue will be right here. Put Mr. Mason on.
Hello, Isabel. Harold.
Well, this isn't Isabel.
Who is this?
Well, you see, this is Dick Brown. Isabel LaRue used to have this number. You know, I would appreciate it very much if you could tell me any other way I could get a hold of her. You see, I get quite a few calls and... Hello? Hello, Mr. Mason? Hello? He hung up. Why, I don't know. But one thing I found out was that little Isabel, if nothing else, must know the right people. A guy like Mason, who has got to go through 2 secretaries to make a phone call, must have a couple of chips. She was beautiful, no doubt about that. She must have to be to get so many calls from so many different guys, and the right kind, too. She was very mysterious. Or why else would they hang up when I ask about her? She was tall, willowy, very sophisticated. A blonde. No, a brunette. And a lot of fun. I drew a mental picture of her as a gag just to see how close I'd come when I actually met her. Well, I finally dozed off. She must be beautiful and lovely. Beautiful, tall. Maybe a redhead.
Dick, can't you see me? Here I am.
Where?
Up here.
Oh.
That's it. Come on, just a little further. That's a boy.
You're
Who else?
Isabel.
Of course.
Oh, you are lovely. So beautiful. Just as I pictured.
Thanks, Dick. You're pretty swell yourself.
Oh, what am I?
Come here.
Oh? Well, you wouldn't.
Afraid?
Of course not. It's just...
What?
Well, what are you doing with me? I'm just a common bank clerk. What about Mr. Mason?
Harold, he bores me terribly.
Oh?
Look, every man is at my fingertips.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If I wanted them, I'd be with them. Instead, I'm with you. You only want something you haven't got. Once you have it or know you can get it, you love with your heart, not your mind.
Oh, I do love you.
Put your arms around me.
Oh.
Kiss me.
The alarm clock broke it up just when it was getting good. Well, the next day was Sunday. It may sound kind of silly, but I just couldn't get her or that dream off of my mind all day. Instead of ordering donuts for breakfast, I ordered 2 Isabels, plain. It got on my nerves. Well, the public library was open, so I wandered down, and I thumbed through the present and all the past issues of Who's Who, the phone books, film magazines, newspapers, and... well, there was nothing. Not a word about Isabel LaRue. Then that night, about 11 o'clock... Hello?
Let me speak to Isabel, will you?
Look, she doesn't live here. The phone
Don't
was...
hand me that, pal. This is John Worthington, and I have to speak to LaRue, understand?
I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Then just give Isabel this message, will you?
Listen, I can't...
Just tell Isabel I don't want to see her friend, I want to see her. And if she don't call me by tomorrow morning and tell me she'll give me another chance, that'll be all. Get it?
Okay.
And it'll mean plenty of trouble, too. I'll come down there to the Beverly Towers and really put on an act that she won't forget.
Yeah.
Got the name? John Worthington. Well...
Yeah, I got it. Well, I didn't give it much thought then. That particular phone call to Isabel, that is. But the next morning at breakfast, something happened. I was drinking my coffee, and I caught the sight of the paper next to me. It was all over the front page. Playboy, gambler. John Worthington leaps to his death from the top of the Beverly Towers. Now, the papers had it doped out that the reason for the suicide was that John Boy was a couple $100,000 in debt. But I, and only I, knew different. It was Isabel LaRue.
Autolite is bringing you Mr. Red Skelton in The Search for Isabel, tonight's production in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Hey, Harlow, what's this I hear about you being tossed out of the zoo for annoying the animals?
I can't figure it out, Hap.
Well, what were you up to when they hustled you off?
I was standing at the camel enclosure, thinking about Autolite Stay Full batteries, of course. So I turned to the nearest dromedary and said, you know, you guys are overrated.
Why, when it comes to carrying water, you're damp rags compared to Autolite Stay Full batteries. Did you know that Autolite Stay Full batteries need water only 3 times a year in normal car use? Well, that camel just curled up and cried.
And that's when you were bound?
Mm-hmm. But on the way out, I told the keeper that Autolite Stay Full batteries have over 3 times the liquid reserve above the plates than ordinary batteries. In addition, each one of these positive plates is protected with a fiberglass retaining mat for longer battery life. The fact is, in recent tests based on SAE life cycle standards, Autolite Stay Full batteries gave up to 70% longer average life than batteries without Stay Full features. So, friends, see your neighborhood Autolite battery dealer today and get an Autolite Stay Full battery for your car. Remember, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage our star, Red Skelton, with Kathy Lewis in The Search for Isabel, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Yes, sir, this millionaire playboy and gambler, John Worthington, had jumped to his death from the top of the Beverly Towers. I knew it was on account of LaRue. And the worst part of it was that 2 or 3 times during the day I caught myself not blaming him. I dreamed about her all the time now. It was getting so bad that I was actually fond of going to sleep so I could meet her again. And suddenly one night, just as I was dropping off, I thought of something. The Beverly Towers. A clue. I would ask her.
Dick. Dick. I love you.
I love you. Isabel, are you at the Beverly Towers?
Where else?
Thanks, honey. The Beverly Towers is about as swanky as you can get, strictly for the white tie and ermine trade. But Isabel was different. I knew that. So different. I arrived at the Beverly Towers and I walked up to the elevator as big as life. Boy, I'd never seen a joint like this. The elevators were even gilded.
Your floor, sir?
Well, I'm from the FBI, a T-man. What apartment is Miss Isabel LaRue?
LaRue? Well, I shouldn't tell you, but, for how much?
Money? The United States government don't tip, my boy.
Yeah. It's 903. But look, I think you better get your information across the street, huh? The Blue Bottle Bar and Grill. Talk to the bartender, because if you don't, I'll be in trouble.
Thanks, son. We won't forget you when we crack this case, because your government has plenty of influence in Washington. It was actually around the corner on 3rd Street, the Blue Bottle Bar and Grill. Well, I cased it. The joint. Through the window. Looked pretty rough. And, well, anyway, I realized it was midnight already, and they were starting to close up, and I was pretty tired, so I figured that tomorrow would tell the tale. A half hour later, I was back in my apartment. I got undressed, and I climbed into bed. I was tired. Oh, I was so tired. Hello.
Hello, is Mr. Brown in, please?
This is Brown speaking.
This is the Mount Vernon Police Department.
Police?
Oh, now, don't worry. We noticed that you have the telephone number Evergreen 31924.
Oh, yes, I do.
Well, we're trying to locate an Isabel LaRue.
Isabel?
And we thought you might be getting some calls for her.
Oh, you did. Florbell McCoy, you said?
No, Isabel LaRue.
No, never heard of her.
Well, we're sorry to have bothered you. But, look, if you do get any calls for her, try to get their names and let us know, will you?
Sure will.
All right, thank you.
I put the receiver back on the hook. I must be going really nuts. Why did I do that for? So she's in trouble. What business is it of mine? Why didn't I tell him? About after an hour, I finally went off to sleep. Isabel, look, why don't you let me alone?
I don't want to, darling. Do you love me?
Well, what difference does that make?
A great deal. Tell me.
No.
I love you.
Well, you couldn't.
But I do.
All right, I'll tell you. I love you.
I need you, darling.
No, I need you.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, but what kind?
Terrible trouble. Come help me.
I will.
Promise?
I promise.
Then come quick. Help me. Help me, dear.
Oh, Isabella, wait a minute. Wait a minute, Isabel. I forgot to ask you. What apartment are you in? 903?
Where else? Where else?
It was 7:30, and by 8:15 that morning, I was standing in front of 903. I was shaking like a leaf. I could feel my lower lip start to quiver. It always does that when I get nervous. I knocked softly. Twice. I waited. There was no answer. I was holding one of my new calling cards in my left hand, and I could feel it getting wet. Oh?
What do you want?
Well, does the... I'm Mr. Brown, calling for Miss LaRue.
Never heard of her.
Well, she lives here.
I live here, smart boy, now go away.
You live here?
Who else? Now beat it, smart boy.
Well, now look, I know she's in...
Hey. Next time, don't pound the door off.
He was a big guy in a brown pinstripe suit. I got a look at the room inside. There was another tough guy in there. He'd been holding a revolver. Well, I tried to find that elevator boy to check whether I heard him right when he said room 903 was Isabel's. But he wasn't around. So I did what else he said. I went around to the Blue Bottle Bar and Grill.
Yeah, Willoughby?
What do you got?
Oh, about a little 8-year-old scotch.
Good.
Uh-huh. Chaser?
Yeah. A root beer.
Huh. Well, you're serious about this drinking stuff. What's the matter, your girl leave you?
Well, it's worse than that. You see, I can't find her. Hey, you don't know Isabel LaRue.
Isabel? Hey, just who are you, huh?
Here's my card.
Light's kind of bad in here. Richard Brown, Municipal Bank and Trust Corporation. Uh-huh. Are you a good friend of Isabel's?
We had only just discussed getting married, that's all.
Oh, I see.
Well?
Well, I don't know where she is myself, but I think this gentleman does, Mr. Brown.
Oh?
Hello.
Hi.
Mr. Brown here is looking for Isabel LaRue. Says he and she was going to get married.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him you might be able to help him, Roy.
Oh, sure. I know where she is right now.
Oh? Where?
What are you drinking, pal?
Oh, 8-year-old pre-war.
Oh, you don't want to drink that. Hey, Max, that 13-and-a-half-year-old special, huh?
Right.
That's it.
You know, I was about to recommend it. And, here you are.
Not for me, Max. I'm a brandy drinker myself, Mr. Brown. Well, you must be the fella Isabel's been talking about. Come on, drink up.
Well, I'm probably not the guy she's been talking about, but she's in trouble, and I want to help her.
Of course you do.
Where is she?
Well, the address is a little involved. Look, why don't we step in here, huh? Finish our drinks here.
Oh, sure thing.
There. You, have a car?
Oh, of course.
Where?
Well, it's right out there. It's that gray convertible.
Oh, well, fine then. You won't have any trouble. Hey,
Thanks.
come on, drink up.
Thanks. Well, how long have you known the delightful Isabel, Miss LaRue, that is, Mr.
Just call me Roy.
Oh, thanks, Roy.
Forget it. Come on, a toast to Isabel. The one and only Isabel LaRue.
To Isabel, wherever she may be. Well, how long have you known the delightful Isabel, Miss LaRue, that is?
Oh, but...
Isabel! Oh, Isabel.
for sure, I was back at my apartment with enough bandages around my head to pass for a Hindu Swami, which is maybe what I should have done. I was lying on the bed, and in my left hand was clutched one of my own cards. On the back of it was scrawled, "It's a misdemeanor and so forth to say you are a member of the FBI unless such is true. Lay off trying to contact I. LaRue. Signed, sincerely, your FBI." Oh, my head was throbbing like a trip hammer. I reached over and took a couple of aspirins, and in a few minutes I was off again in the land of Nod.
Dear, I'm here. Isabel. Dick.
Here. Look. Please, don't come near me.
Why didn't you help me?
I tried, honest.
Don't you love me?
Oh.
Don't you?
You know I do.
Tell me again.
I love you.
I love you, Dick.
I can't go on like this. We can't.
I'm with you now. I'll always be with you.
But you'll leave again.
Never again.
No? Come close to me.
There.
Oh, Isabel.
You smell of liquor.
Oh, well, I just had
My big, foolish, brave boy. They give you a Mickey.
They did?
What else?
Oh, I love you.
Promise you'll always be mine.
Forever.
Dear.
What, dear?
Where are you going to go when you get up and have a nice hot dinner?
Blue Bottle Bar and Grill?
Where else?
As I walked in, I detected a hush fall over the patrons. The bartender hadn't seen me yet. But when he did, his face turned the same color as the dish towel he was wearing over one shoulder. Hey, give me the same as you gave me before, only this time not so strong.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah, Brown's the name. You want to see a card?
I remember. That was a scotch, wasn't it?
Yeah, you got a good memory. But not that 13-and-a-half-year-old stuff this time.
Oh, sure. Hurt your head, sir?
No, I always wear bandages. It holds my hair down. Pour above the bar if you don't mind, so I can see it.
Oh, sure.
That's better. Now, where is Isabel LaRue?
Oh, really? I didn't have nothing to do with it.
Come on, out with it. Where is she?
Please, she's in 903 Beverly Towers.
903, just as I suspected.
Mr. Brown, don't tell nobody. I told you that they'll kill me.
Oh, no, they won't. Thanks for the scotch.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
Well, what kind of a gun can I get for $17.50?
Say, a gun, 17. Oh, yes, I have a practically brand new shotgun, 12 gauges.
No, I was looking for a pistol.
Pistol.
Yes.
Here. Here's a honey, a 38 revolver.
Well, don't look so good to me.
Well, what can you expect for $17.50? It shoots, and I was told very accurately.
It's a deal.
Fine. You will have to sign some forms here and some identification, state law.
And then, there I was, standing in front of room 903 in the Beverly Towers. If Isabel was in there, I was going to get her out. And this time I knew she was in there. I reached in my pocket, and I pulled out the gun. I pulled the hammer back. I held it close to my body so if anyone might be walking down the hall, they wouldn't see it. I started to pound on the door again.
Whoa. If it isn't Smart Boy, I thought I told you not to pound.
Let me in.
Smart Boy's got a gun. You might get hurt.
Let me in.
What else? My hospitality's boundless. Come in and have a cocktail.
Yeah. 13 half-year-old Scotch cocktail, I suppose. Oh, where's Isabel?
Oh, come now.
Where is she? I know she's here.
Put the rod away before you get hurt, smart boy.
Hey, this morning
Oh, hello, Roy. Come on in. And close that door behind you. Now, you two put your hands up.
What is this?
Now, both of you get over back against that wall.
Look, Brown, I don't know what you're trying to prove. If you're as smart as you think you are, you'll get out of here fast.
Isabel, come out. It's okay. Stand back where you are. See, there.
You got hurt once, Nosy.
Keep quiet. Isabel!
What are you waving the gun around for?
Now stand back.
You nervous?
You let Isabel go.
Yeah, you're shaking so bad you couldn't hit the wallpaper.
Now, you stay away from that mantle.
I just want to pick up this automatic, that's all.
Now, stay away.
You're too nervous. You're out of your league, smart boy.
Put that gun down.
Drop the rod. Drop it.
Don't!
That's it. Drop the gun.
Well, the cops were there before the last bullet had left my gun. They slapped handcuffs on me and both of them. Apparently, the only thing I'd shot was the gun out of Desimoni's hands, a feat for which I'm still being complimented for. Well, the lieutenant looked across the desk at me with real respect. Gosh.
Yes, sir. I gotta hand it to you, my boy. Takes nerve to walk in on a guy like Desimoni.
Who's Desimoni?
What do you mean? Tony Desimoni, the guy who tried to murder you.
Yeah, but so what? What does he do?
You didn't know. The biggest racketeer and bookmaker alive. Oh, yeah, it takes nerve.
Does?
We were waiting to catch him on something big, and you fixed it for us. Now we got him on attempted murder. Hey, how much do he owe you?
Nothing.
Oh, you're lucky. He owed about $200,000 in bets he'd taken off the other suckers. Guys like that poor Worthington guy and, what's his name, Mason?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, looks like Isabel LaRue is finally out of business.
Oh, don't say that.
Oh, why not?
Please. Who's Isabel LaRue?
You don't know?
No, tell me.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, I'm not. Who is she?
You don't know how it works, huh? Well, look, all bookies use fronts.
Fronts? You mean Isabel is a front for Tony Desimoni?
No. Isabel LaRue is Tony Desimoni. There is no such person as Isabel LaRue.
No. Oh, no. Oh, well, that isn't so.
Huh? Now, will you tell me why you went to all of this trouble?
Well, you see, there was a girl, and, she's... Oh, you wouldn't understand. Tony Desimoni's up in prison now. Now, wouldn't this be true if Tony Desimoni was the same as Isabel LaRue? She wouldn't be coming to see me anymore, now would she? Well, you'll have to excuse me now because it's a little late and, I got to turn in, and besides, we want to be alone. I'm sure you'll understand.
Dick.
Oh, dear Isabel. Oh, a new dress.
Oh, like it?
Well, it's a little... I love it, you understand, but isn't it a little daring?
No.
Gosh, I wouldn't want to see you wear it around anyone else.
I won't, darling. I love you.
And I love you.
You're so handsome, strong, brave, wonderful.
What else?
Suspense, presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Red Skelton, with Kathy Lewis.
Well done, Red Skelton, well done.
Well, thank you, Harlow.
I've heard you as a comedian, now as a dramatic actor. But look, have you ever done any commercial work?
Well, didn't you see me sell full brushes?
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, do you want me to sell some of your Autolite Stay Full batteries now?
Red, they practically sell themselves. Especially after we tell people that Autolite Stay Full batteries need water only 3 times a year in normal car use.
What else?
Well, that's right, Ed. It figures that way because Autolite Stay Full batteries are star performers, just like the 400 other products made by Autolite for cars, trucks, planes, and boats in 28 Autolite plants coast to coast. Autolite also makes complete electrical systems for many makes of America's finest cars. Batteries, spark plugs, generators, starting motors, coils, distributors. All engineered to fit together perfectly, work together perfectly because they're a perfect team.
So, friends, don't accept electrical parts supposed to be as good. Insist on and get Autolite original factory parts at your neighborhood service station, car dealer, garage, or repair shop. Remember, you're always right with Autolite. Next Thursday for Suspense, Van Heflin will be our star. The play is called Murder of Aunt Delia. And it is, as we say,
a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Tonight's Suspense play was produced and edited by William Spear and directed by Norman MacDonald. Music for Suspense is composed by Renee Garrigank and Lucien Morawek and conducted by Lud Bluskin. The Search for Isabel is an original play by Richard Vaudra. Red Skelton appeared by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, producers of Battleground, starring Van Johnson, John Hodiak, Ricardo Montalban, and George Murphy. Red Skelton may be heard on his own Tide show for Procter & Gamble over CBS every Sunday night.
You can buy Autolite Stay-Full batteries, Autolite resistor spark plugs, Autolite electrical parts at your neighborhood Autolite dealers. Switch to Autolite. Good night.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.